Hello, welcome to the weather update. It's about 9:30 on this last day of January, January 31st, 2023. And yes, we have more clouds again today. You can see the clouds lingered. We even had a little bit of light snow in certain parts of the area that actually resulted in a coating in some areas. And if we go and we look at the Twitter from the Weather Service, you'll see here is a picture of what happened by their Weather Service office in Brookhaven. Zero point 0.2 inch. Central Park still just had a trace. But Brookhaven got 0.2 inch, and I don't know if Islip picked up anything. I don't think Islip picked up anything. So we're still waiting for snowfall at Islip as well. But, yeah, you can see we've got a stalled front off to the south. You can see the clouds kind of moving from left to right. And if I run this through on 120 here, you'll see if you were up north, northern New York, upstate, and up northern New England, you had a nice clear day today. But for the rest of us, north of the city, partly sunny conditions, and then over us, you can see kind of just socked in the clouds with clear sky just being off to the north. You can see stalled front right there off to the south. If we look at the weather map, you'll see stalled front with low pressures riding along that stalled front there, and they even have us in a little bit of white here. Looking at the current radar, let's go ahead and look at that radar. There's not really a whole lot going on along this front. Though I think that it's missing some here. All right, here we go. We're getting a little more here. So this is the low that's causing that ice storm. But again, it's a fairly flat flow, as I was saying yesterday. Looking at the weather and hazards map, again, you can see where the ice storm and the winter storm warnings are. And even, wow, they're pretty far down into Texas. You can see, and then it just disappeared. But you can see ice storm warnings in effect for parts of, it looks like parts of Tennessee and Missouri, and northern Alabama, northern Louisiana. And then winter weather advisories into the Appalachians there. So let's take a look and see what's going on in our area. And I can see we got a wind chill watch. So this is again for upstate for that Arctic air mass that we have to watch for later. So let's go and look at the temperatures and dew points. And you see we got northeast winds here with the dew points in. Northeast winds, dry air, fairly dry air. Wow, look at how much higher the dew points are in New Jersey. This is interesting. So if you notice, look at the dew points on Long Island in the teens, but then look at New Jersey. The dew points in the above freezing, so that's very interesting. A lot more moisture there. That northeast wind is really coming in off the water, and I guess bringing more moisture over into New Jersey. So let's take a look and see what the conditions were at Islip today. 36 right now, and when I say New Jersey, I mean the southern part of New Jersey. All right. Well, most of New Jersey really is south of the Raritan land area anyway. But anyway, you'll see here temperatures generally in the mid-30s. You can see we had a little bit of mixed precipitation in the morning and a little bit of light snow reported in the afternoon. It doesn't, no accumulation, just a trace. It looks like being reported. So, just a trace of precipitation. So let's go take a look at what our highs were. Well, actually, there's no reason to look at that because the highs, I believe, were probably registered at midnight last night, probably. But we'll go ahead and we'll look at the highs anyway. Because I think it's going to, this is what was registered out at midnight. It didn't get into the 40s today. It was only in the upper 30s today. That's why I didn't want to really even bother showing that. So let's take a look at the models now, and you'll see here's that low, this flat flow. So this low is going to kind of slide by to the south, and it wants to bring an area of light snow in over the area. Perhaps tomorrow morning before sunrise. All right, this is a low that's, you can see how it's just a very flat flow, but that low is close enough that it could brush us with some light snow. And this is the GFS that we're looking at here. And then another high pressure builds in here as we get into Thursday, so that should bring us some fair weather, and maybe we'll see the sun back. And here comes Friday, Arctic front comes through, and you'll see here comes that big push of cold air coming in for Friday night into Saturday, and as we know, it's a quick hit, and then it's out, all right, of the cold air. So let's take a look at what we've got going on the HRRR model. This is the 0Z run of the HRRR, and we'll take a look to see what the HRRR has. It doesn't look all that impressive, and it actually only gives the light snow to New Jersey, perhaps Ocean County, and southward, and nothing over Long Island. And like I said, I don't really count on it accumulating very much. That's funny that Philadelphia might actually get immeasurable snowfall before New York. But anyway, you'll see here that the HRRR keeps to the south, and then improving conditions by the afternoon. And then the HRRR goes all the way out through Thursday and into, again, this is the Arctic front right here that you see diving down. That is your Arctic front. So that is your Arctic front right here. That's what's going to be bringing in that bitter cold air from eastern Canada as we get into Friday. And that is going to be some bitter cold air, all right. So let's go take a look at some of the other models that we can as far as the GFS, the higher resolution GFS. This is the 0Z run of the higher resolution GFS. And you see it's further north. See, we don't have an agreement on the model. So here it is going to bring some light. It brings that, it has the snow a little heavier, and it has a period of light to maybe even occasionally moderate snow in the overnight hours, probably before sunrise. Okay, that's the GFS, so it's a little more amplified with the storm. And then that high would build in, and then for Thursday we're dry. And again, there's the Arctic front. Look at the Arctic front. There could be a snow squall with this Arctic front when it comes through. Wouldn't that be interesting? So now, if we look at the GFS and we look at total snowfall, you'll see it actually gives us an inch or less. And maybe some areas that are a little higher up in central Jersey could pick up as much as 2 inches. And again, this is the GFS. It may be overdoing it, all right? Honestly, I think it is, because looking at the current radar, it doesn't look that impressive. I think it's overdone. All right. So let's go back and now look at the NAM model. All right. Now the NAM always tends to overdo things, and the NAM keeps the, and the NAM's a little further south with the snow, and it has it over New Jersey. And this New Jersey is probably the best bet of getting any accumulating snowfall is if you're south of the city tomorrow. That's my own opinion on it, but it would be very, very little that you'll get. All right, so that's the NAM, again, before sunrise in the morning, and then after the sun comes out, it should gradually taper off after the sun comes up, and then this is the NAM, goes a little further. Here's the Arctic front. It doesn't really show any snow squalls developing, but of course there will be lake effects with that behind that Arctic front. So let's now go and look at the NAM as far as total snowfall, and we'll see what that does. So the NAM, I'm in agreement with the NAM. I think we don't see anything. I think that more likely Jersey, perhaps an inch if you're in Ocean County or further south. Perhaps. That's the best bet. I don't think it's going to make it up here. I think the GFS is overdone. All right. It's the odd one out looking at all these models right now. And just looking at it on the, again, looking at the storm on the thing, you could see how far south it is, and the flow is just kind of a flat flow. I just don't see how it's going to affect us like the GFS is saying it's going to affect us. So with that, let's look at some let's go back to the HRRR and look at what's going to be happening to our temperatures, and I'll look at a few other models with that too as well, but let's start with the HRRR. So tonight, we will drop below freezing, but not by much, probably upper 20s, the cloud cover, no radiational cooling. And tomorrow will be a little colder than today. I think today we had upper 30s, tomorrow maybe only mid-30s. And then as far as overnight tomorrow night, it's going to start getting a little colder tomorrow night. I think we'll see lows in the mid-20s, and it all depends if we see that radiational cooling or not. And then here we are Thursday, and again, you can see we are warming up into a little bit of maybe close to 40 on Thursday. And there you go. There's that Arctic air up there. Now, I forgot to put the dew points and wind flow in. I should have done that first. Oops. So here we go. Northeast winds, north winds. So the flows from the north. So if there is precipitation, I think it will be of the frozen type. But I don't think it's going to be very light, and I don't think it's going to accumulate. Northwest winds tomorrow, you can see the dry air, north winds, and then as we get into Thursday, that's when the winds become a little more westerly, but there, again, is that Arctic air waiting in the wings right there, and that is what's going to really drop things. Now, the NAM, being that we have more of the NAM involved, let's take a look at the NAM, and I usually don't for this, but we will because the NAM always likes to emphasize the cold air. So here we go, dew points and wind flow, and then here we go. So this is what's going to happen Friday as we go into Friday. I'm trying to time when that Arctic front will come through, probably sometime in the morning, and then you can see those dew points dropping quite rapidly. Here we are, dew points go below zero. That's Arctic air, and you can see where it's coming right down from eastern Canada, and that's how we get our coldest air. So again, looking at your air temperatures, here we are, air temperatures, and you'll see here, look at that Arctic front, there it is. So as we get into Friday, Friday morning is going to be warmer than Friday night. So Friday morning might start off around freezing, but by afternoon, we're going to be dealing with temperatures in the 20s. And it's going to get colder than that. So let me flip this over to the GFS now. And you'll see how cold it gets. And we'll look at, again, a few more models when it comes to this. So you can see dropping through the 20s by night. By sunset, we're in the teens. And then by midnight, we're in the single digits. GFS is not quite as aggressive as some of the other models. It keeps the below zero stuff to our north, and keeps us generally in the single digits and teens, which will be cold. And then Saturday, it has a little colder conditions over Long Island. Perhaps Long Island's going to have a harder time making it into the 20s, but I think Jersey, maybe most of New Jersey will make it into the 20s, maybe because there might be more cloud cover over Long Island. And then as we get into Sunday, you'll see things get moderate quite a bit. So yeah, it's going to be a quick shot. Very unusual to see an intense shot like this, but a very, very quick shot of cold air. That's what the unusual part of it is. So let me look at a few more models. And this is in the longer range, so I'd have to use the European, so we can look at that. This is the European model. European is always a little more aggressive with the cold air. And let's see how the European, or if the European still wants to bring in those below zero temperatures very close to us. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. There's still the potential there that we could see 0 degrees on Long Island or below. And I'm talking about all the sites, not just radiational cooling sites. This air is going to come right down from eastern Canada, as you see right there. So obviously we didn't see the sun today. Let's shift gears and look at the RGM model, and we will go. And actually the RGM is probably going to run that far out with the temperatures too, so we can kind of see the Arctic front here. Look at how it comes down. The RGM is really intense with it, so look at that. So, and this is, again, very dry air. Dew points are, look at the dew points here. Oh, that's right. This one doesn't have dew points, but it's very dry air. But I'll be talking about this again. We're going to be talking about, this is the major weather thing that we have to watch for. So RGM, you can see those clouds kind of just sitting over us. Here we are tomorrow, still in the clouds, and they eventually kind of just wants to have them linger over us and not really break up until very late in the afternoon. So we might see some sun, but it might not be until after 3 o'clock, according to the RGM. And then for Thursday, we'll be dealing with some high clouds. And then it seems to get rid of the high clouds a little later on. Then another push of high clouds. There's the Arctic front. Wow, it shows up very nicely. Friday morning, Arctic front passes through. And then Friday would be mostly sunny. However, we have to caution because of the lake effect. We'll have to see. However, this is very dry air. So that's why I don't think the lake effect may not make it that far down. So hopefully we can squeeze out a mostly sunny day on Friday. Let's look at a few more models here with the clouds. FV3, high resolution GFS, and this is the 0Z run of it, but we are missing frames. It seems like it's also wanting to hold on to the clouds tomorrow, though, from what I see. Let's go to another model. We'll go to the NAM3. And NAM3, holding on to the clouds a little less, but I still think you're probably not going to see the sun until later tomorrow afternoon, probably. And then as we get into Thursday, NAM is more aggressive with the high clouds. All right, so let me go to the regular GFS now, which we know is a lower resolution model, to show you. So I think, do we see the sun tomorrow? Perhaps best bet is in the afternoon. All right, and hopefully the skies will clear out tomorrow night enough that we can actually see that comet, because we're gonna have the best look at it tomorrow night. Haven't seen it yet. You can't really see it with the naked eye, but if you take a picture, you can, or if you have binoculars. And GFS is way more aggressive with the clouds for Thursday. And Friday, it's slower, clearing us out. And then for Saturday, you can see sort of what it does. We're going to have to watch that lake effect and see what it does, because sometimes the models underestimate that. And we'll have to see what happens with that. But I really hope we can get some clear skies, because this kind of air mass can bring some really nice skies. If we can get, it all depends on the wind direction. It really needs to be directly from the north. The more likely you have a wind from the north versus northwest, it's not going to go over the lakes. It's going to come right down. And that'll also make it colder as well. So we'll have to see about that. One more model to check, and that's Ventus Sky. We can use this for the clouds for tomorrow. And we'll go to tomorrow, which is February 1st. So here we are. Let's start off at 9 in the morning. You can see the clouds kind of hanging tough. 11, starting to break up a little bit. HRRR wants to try to bring the sun in here, perhaps by 2 o'clock a little bit. We'll have to see what happens. But I think if we do see the sun tomorrow, it's going to be in the afternoon. I don't think it's going to be any earlier than that, but I think in the afternoon you will see the sun. And we'll see the sun again. I know today kind of we were hoping to see the sun today. It was just cloudy all day. So that, and of course the snow. I'm just curious to see if the Weather Service is actually predicting any actual measurable snowfall for tomorrow. Let's go see what the Twitter post is, and then I wrap it up. So light snowfall is possible along the coast. And, yeah, they're giving us less than barely anything, basically. And all of our climate sites have no measurable snowfall for January. So we're going to go the whole month of January with no snow. Still waiting for our first measurable snow in New York City. It's quite crazy, let me tell you. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night.